Hey everyone, welcome to Mystifying Miracles. I'm Kristen, and today I'm going to talk about a lasagna that, it multiplied. Stay tuned, I'm going to get into it. It was a beautiful wintry day with light snow flurries falling to the ground when Beverly Schwind walked into a very old church. The pews were old. There were hardwood floors. You could hear the creaking as you walked. And Beverly, she was excited. You see, volunteers were arriving at the church. They had already even heated up an old wooden stove for heat. Their day would be spent volunteering and giving out things to a poor community. There were boxes of all kinds, boxes of food here and there, shoes, clothes, all that stuff just gathered and organized. In regards to the community of the town they were serving, their residents were rather, you could say, superstitious. That was in regards to what they thought, what they did, how they lived. And so because of these superstitions, if you will, it was very hard to be accepted by them. It was very tough to break through their shell. Most didn't attend church, and reason was they just flat out didn't trust people. In a previous summer from this point, these same volunteers had served this same community. They had redone some of their roofs and things like that. So they'd been here once, but they just didn't really know the people. Now, some of the people in the community, there were a few that did yearn for something of like a Bible study or a church, but there were very few of them. Even those people that wanted that, they weren't comfortable in church. They had never been. So what they did is start a home group, a home Bible study, or a home church, if you will. And they even had a little pastor out of the community that kind of led it. Now back to the present. The volunteers for the day, as well as the pastor of their little community, they had some worries. And that was because all this was taking place in the little old church. These people didn't like church, so would they even accept this group of volunteers? Would they come through the doors to accept what's being given? But despite having that worry, all 15 volunteers, they were excited for the day anyway. So 2 hours prior to the doors opening, they say a prayer, they make sure everything's organized and done just so, and they decide to have a meal together, just to fellowship with each other to get the day started. Well, one of the people, the volunteers, they brought one huge pan of lasagna, and that one pan, it had 20 servings in it. It would be just enough for the volunteer team. Beverly starts describing, she's like, oh man, the smell that day of the noodles, the meat sauce, that ooey gooey cheese. She couldn't wait to dive in. The smell was just fantastic. Beverly states all of the volunteers had just started eating, so I can imagine like fork in hand, about to take the first bite when they hear a knock on the church door. Well, it was 2 hours prior to the doors opening, but Beverly goes, opens it, and the first family had arrived. She greets them, and she says they just didn't seem that interested in what the group had to offer. They didn't even pay attention or look at the boxes of the food and the clothes and all that on the floor and organized. They went straight past it. Guess where they went? To the lasagna. And Beverly didn't have time to even open her mouth before this family started digging in. She sees the little boy, he has a plate in hand, and he's already saying how delicious it smells. So obviously, you're not going to turn down a needy family or a child and say, oh, no, that's the volunteers' food. So of course, they're going to let these people eat. Beverly kind of worriedly looks at the pan of lasagna, and she's like, okay, that looks like it'll be just enough. Again, this is 2 hours early. Several families start pouring through those church doors. This happens continually. And like the previous families, they're uninterested in all the boxes of stuff. They go straight past it, straight to the lasagna table. And helped themselves to a plate. One by one, another plate filled. In fact, some of these people even went back for refills. Now, you're probably already thinking the same thing I was thinking when I read this. How? That is unbelievable. How? By now, with all those families that had continually poured in early, that pan should be obliterated, gone. Well, it came time to go ahead and give out all the boxes of the things, the food, and all that. So they get that going. People of the community began looking and perusing through everything and going through the clothes racks. Some would pick out an item or two for a friend that couldn't be there. And Beverly was just watching and listening, and she sees and hears these little chit-chat conversations, and these people are starting to enjoy themselves. There was laughter. There was smiles. There were stories being shared. It was unbelievable. What also makes it even more unbelievable is that there were a lot of family feuds within this community. But this day, no one noticed any of that. So as the day wears on, people are coming, people are going, and people are still going to the lasagna table. No way. Beverly says that pan's got to be empty. This is absurd. Over 60 people had come in and gone to that lasagna table, some getting seconds. And again, that pan only had 20 servings to start with. Towards the end of the day, one of the volunteers, her name was Bonnie, and she's helping clean up, and she starts asking the volunteers, there's still lasagna left. Does any of y'all want to take some home? Every last one of those volunteers just stood in awe. They couldn't believe it. It just couldn't register in their minds. Like, how? But they knew exactly what to do, and they immediately go to thanking God for what he had done that day. They knew without a shadow of a doubt it was him who had multiplied that lasagna over and over, probably, I guess, as the day wore on. And I mean, to think that there were even leftovers. Bonnie has a quote at the end, and I like it. She says, God provides, even if he has to work miracles to do so. What a story. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know back around Christmas, I did a similar story, but it was in a different time period, different town, different people. This is just another one showing the multiplication of food. The impossible becomes the possible when God does his miracles. Let me know what you guys thought. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you guys next time.